regrets, mistakes, sliding doors. In this video, I will show you why insight is a trap, why our choices are never perfect, and why, despite everything, it's always worth deciding. If you have ever been afraid of making the wrong decision, stay with me. Every day of our lives is made up of choices. Some are small, almost automatic. What to eat for breakfast, which route to take for work. Others are bigger, changing the course of our lives in irreversible ways. Accepting or declining a job offer, moving to another city, who to love, and who to let go. But every choice has a price. It forces us to give up all the alternatives we didn't choose. And as time passes, we look back and ask ourselves, did I make the right decision? Yet, if you think about it, it's the possibility of choosing that makes us human. In a world where every step was already written, there would be no room for failure, but also no room for discovery. Every choice, for better or worse, reminds us that we are alive. How many times have you looked back on a decision and thought, if only I had done things differently? It's a common thought, but also a trap. Regret arises from comparing what we know today with what we didn't know yesterday. Sometimes this thought torments us, filling our minds with doubts and stopping us from moving forward or making better decisions for the future. It's an unfair comparison. As Søren Kierkegaard said, life can be only understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. The problem is that regret carries more emotional weight than gratitude. We tend to remember what we lost more intensely than what we gained. This effect, called loss aversion, has also been studied in behavioral economics. We lose more energy in regret than in gratitude for what we have. Think about it. How much information do we have today that we simply didn't have when we made that choice? Studies show that regret does not come so much from the outcome, but from feeling personally responsible for a free choice, made with incomplete data. It's the so-called insight bias, the wisdom of insight. Everything seems obvious, but only afterwards. An example, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he founded. Years later, he said, I didn't see it then, but getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Let's also think about more personal decisions. A friendship lost, a relationship that ended too soon, a career never started. Maybe we regretted it, but are we sure things would have gone better? Or are we idealizing an alternative version of ourselves that never existed? Every choice is made under condition of uncertainty. We never know everything. And above all, we cannot know the future. Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman explained how our decisions almost never follow pure rational logic. In his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he distinguished two mental systems. System 1, fast, intuitive, emotional. System 2, slow, analytical, rational. When we have to choose, System 1 often takes over. Not because we are stupid, but because we are human. The brain optimizes shortcuts, simplifies. We are biologically programmed to decide quickly, not perfectly. Our decisions are always a compromise between logic and intuition, between what we know and what we hope for. They are the best we can make at the exact moment we make them. Our evolutionary environment rewarded speed, not accuracy. Over the millennia, those who react quickly to danger survived. not those who calmly analyzed every option. For example, during the pandemic, many people quit their job to chase long postponed dreams, opening a farmhouse, moving to another city, changing their lives. Some were successful, others regretted. But everyone chose in uncertainty, driven by the need to find meaning in a crisis. How can we judge choices made in a scenario never experienced before? We would love a crystal ball to glimpse into the future and see which option will bring us more happiness. But the truth is that, especially over long horizons, deciding is like gambling. And when we get it right, it's often luck. Every choice shapes us, not only because it changes what we do, but because it changes who we are. Psychologist Barry Schwartz, in his book The Paradox of Choice, explains that too much freedom can paralyze us. The more options we have, the harder it is to choose, and the more we torture ourselves thinking about what we could have done better. It's the so-called IKEA effect. If you build that piece of furniture yourself, even if it's wobbly, you love it because you chose it, you made it. And that's how it works with our lives. Even if imperfect, we want them to have meaning. And choices, right or wrong, help us building that meaning. Every crossroads forces us to define what really matters to us. Safety or freedom? Stability or risk? Rationality or emotion? There is no such thing as a perfect choice. But every choice made with awareness becomes a stone in the foundation of our identity. Sometimes we make wrong decisions. That's true. But as Nelson Mandela said, I never lose. I either win or learn. Judging past choices is only useful if it helps us understanding something, not to punish ourselves, because tormenting ourselves doesn't change the past. It only changes our present. We can also judge a choice made in the past as wrong, but we must remember that the evaluation is made in the future, in a completely different context, armed with knowledge we didn't have back then. Self-compassion is a powerful and often underestimated tool. Psychologist Chris Neff has studied it extensively. Treating yourself with kindness when you make mistakes increases resilience and reduces chronic regret. A powerful example, J.K. Rowling, before publishing Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers. She could have quit. She could have said, I was wrong. Instead, she continued. Her choice seemed foolish until it wasn't. Today, the saga sold over 500 million copies. Many of the stories we admire today were born from a mistake or an initial failure. The point is not to avoid mistakes, but not to let them define us forever. We wish we could see the future, to know today if that decision will bring us joy or pain. We wish, like in a video game, we could save the game, try an option, and go back if it doesn't work. But life doesn't work that way. After all, we are only human, and luck plays a huge role. Being in the right place at the right time is often pure chance. Little is left to our control because we decide under conditions of limitation and ignorance. Uncertainty is the price of freedom. If everything were predictable, we would only be spectators of our destiny. But instead, we are protagonists, precisely because we take risks. And even if we could peek into the future, this would change. For the mere fact that we have seen it, it's the butterfly effect. Small initial changes produce enormous, unpredictable consequences. So what's the point of chasing certainty? As Alan Watts said, the secret of life is to accept insecurity, to embrace it deeply. If there is one resource we could use better in making decisions, it's time. Often we choose too quickly, driven by anxiety, pressure, or others' expectation. Yet taking time doesn't mean postponing forever. It means breathing, gathering information, being aware. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the concentration camps, wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. In our choice lies our growth and our freedom." Even 1 more minute can make the difference between reacting and responding. Giving ourselves time doesn't guarantee the perfect choice, but it gives us something precious, the awareness that that choice was ours. Our choices will never be perfect. We cannot predict everything, but we can do our best with the tools we have in the present moment. And if something goes wrong, we can learn, grow, change. We are not machines. We are not oracles. We are human beings with emotions, fears, and desires. And for that very reason, every decision we make is deeply our own, imperfect, but authentic. The real challenge is not to avoid making mistakes, is not stop choosing, because living is choosing, and choosing is living. So let's look back to understand, but let's live looking forward. Because as Seneca said, it's not because things are difficult that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare that things are difficult. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like and share it with someone who is facing a tough decision today. Subscribe to the channel for more content on philosophy, science, and the human mind. See you in the next video.